caller. Was that Rhode Island? I saw caller from Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, what's up, man? This Blood Coyote, and I just wanted to comment on the game today and the differences between SGA and Ant-Man. I seen a couple of stats that really popped out to me. Um, SGA has more dunks than Ant does in the playoffs. SGA had 10 dunks made, and Ant only had 9 dunks made.
Mm.
And the layups, SGA had only 42 made from Ant-Man's 53 made,
Mm-hmm.
but SGA had 12 fadeaways made compared to 1 fadeaway made by Ant.
Mm.
And the mid-range is, crazy different. SGA had 45 fadeaways made and from the mid-range, and mid-range for him was only 9 made.
Mm.
It just shows the differences between the mentalities of games that they have. Like SGA is more of a rounded player compared to Ant, and also just after the post game, SGA, you could see in his face, he was like, it's not done. I got more work to do. And it just was really refreshing. He had that Mamba spirit. And when you told, it was a couple of days ago, you said his Ant's game was like Michael Finley's.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know about Michael Finley.
Bad boy.
the younger generation. I suggest go look at some of his highlights, because I went to go back and look some of his highlights. He was he was catching bodies, and he had that mid-range game. I think he might be giving a little too much to saying that Ant has that Finley game, because Finley was nice. Like, he was real nice.
I mean, he was a more complete player though, because he played in the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, and mid-range was something that everybody was trying to develop, especially the wing players. So.
Yeah, because, Jordan had that influence on the game. Like, he's doing the mid-range. Reggie Miller had the mid-range. All these shooters had mid-range games, and players today, they don't really try to go for that mid-range. And it's kind of, it's just a better game to look at when you go back and look at the 90s games, in my opinion. Because me and my son, we go back and forth. He's an older guy. He's in the Air Force. And he was telling me about, they run further distances and all this stuff. And I'm like, look, man, if you watch the games, you can just tell the game speed is a lot faster in the 90s than it is today. I mean, they're jogging up and down the court, lackadaisical, and I thought it was going to be a good game tonight. But, I'm like, they tripping, man. It's like they packed it in. But when Charles Barkley was down 3-1 in the finals, he said they ain't winning tonight.
Mm.
And he went off, and they wind up beating the Bulls and taking them to 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that mentality is just SGA is Mamba, Ant is LeBron, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
And you said Anthony Edwards is like LeBron?
Yeah, I mean, he has that look. I think the Olympics, LeBron, was all in his ear. And I think LeBron gives bad advice to the newer players coming up because he doesn't want them to surpass his legacy. But Kobe Bryant, there was a interview about Paul George. He went to Kobe Bryant to try to figure out how to be a better player in the postseason, because he was having some problems with, I forget which team he was playing against. But, Kobe went ahead and had this whole list of things he could do better, and then
right. So
Paul George wind up following that.
So here's the thing: the way Kobe approached the sport of basketball. I mean, you can hear it in that poem that he got a Grammy for, or Emmy for. He got an Emmy for that Dear Basketball poem he did. If you hear how he talk about it, and it's just not that poem. He talks like this in most of his interviews about basketball. Basketball is a person to him. It's like an entity that he dedicated his life to, and it gave so much to him. And in his retirement, he felt like he needed to give back to basketball. So when he taught people like Kyrie Irving, and when he opened the Mamba Academy and had Candace Parker there, and he was teaching Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and all these people that were showing up to the Mamba Academy, he was giving back to basketball, and that's how he, kept going. LeBron, I don't know if he looks at it like that. I think he looks at it like he's, like you said, he don't want nobody to surpass him. It's more important to him to be the GOAT, and it's more important to him to get all these records. You get what I'm saying?
Right. He's a stat guy.
This the last thing I use to compare it, just to see if it'll make sense to everybody. That movie, The Goonies. You remember when that kid was so serious about getting that treasure and going through the map, the one that really knew what he was talking about. He knew about One-Eyed Willie and all that stuff. You remember that movie, The Goonies?
Yeah.
So what did he do when
the main character?
Yeah, when they finally found the ship and they was taking all that gold, and then someone was about to take the gold that was beside One-Eyed Willie, what did he do? He stopped them and said, "No, leave that for One-Eyed Willie." He wasn't greedy, and he understood even One-Eyed Willie is not even living no more. His skeleton standing right there beside all these rubies and gold. No, leave that for One-Eyed Willie, because he respected One-Eyed Willie because he was studying the map and studying One-Eyed Willie so much that if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have found the ship. So he felt like he knew One-Eyed Willie. That's how Kobe was. That's how he felt about basketball. LeBron don't feel like that. LeBron feel like, I'm selfish. I want all that gold. I want that gold. For someone to say, I want Kareem's record, knowing that that's the only thing we remember Kareem for. I mean, we've been remembering Kareem for 30 years for being the top dog in scoring. Jordan didn't try to go get that record. Kobe didn't try to go get that record. They all retired and said, "Mom, I'm done. I gave it my all. It's time for me to go and give the game back to these young guys." LeBron can't even leave the game and give it to the young guys. And then he's saying, I want all the records I can get on my way out. Why take One-Eyed Willie's gold on your way out? Leave One-Eyed Willie's gold. You got enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for him to go. And he's trying to hog everything. And I think it's disrespectful to say, I want to go get Kareem's record. I would have retired. Now, if you get it just by chance, and you know what I mean, like you get it when you like 35, 36, but why say I'm going to play till I'm 44 or whatever? I'm going to play forever so I can go get that record. And you ain't even playing competitive basketball no more. Like, I think that's a very selfish thing. And that's the difference between people like LeBron and Kobe. And that's the difference between people like SGA and Edwards. You can tell Edwards is on, like you said, the type of timing that LeBron was on, and SGA is on the type of timing that Kobe was on. You see how SGA disrespected. You see how Edwards disrespected SGA at the press game, laughing at the stat sheet because of the free throws he was shooting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Complaining all game and pointing why I can't get this foul, why he get that foul, throwing the basketball at him almost at his nuts while he was laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
McDaniels pushed him in the back because after the whistle was already blown, like that type of stuff. You can't champion that, and you can't reward that. They're not a formidable person to host up as some type of champion or some type of example. Bad example. SGA, exactly. Very professional. Said nothing but good things about Minnesota and Ant-Man. He didn't do none of that shit. He just came out and killed him with the basketball. That's the difference. But yeah, I appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Good analogy. and totally agree with you. And all right, have a good night. I just wanted to lay that on you with the, pause, with the stats, because it's just crazy to me, like how people are saying Ant is the next guy up and all this. And, I got friends that all up on Ant, and I'm like, look, man, SGA, I'm not saying he's got, he's like Kobe or anything like that, but I'm saying just his mentality is like an old school type of player. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
He pays respects to the players that came before him, and he doesn't sound like a idiot when he's talking after the game. It's just, I just appreciate that. And I became a fan of that man after the day. So
Too easy.
have a good night and
All right, brother.
appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, have a good night.